is 7 o'clock, and I will call the March 20th regular session of the Madison Fire District Board to order, or back in session. So we are in regular session, and first order of business is a promotion. Chief.
Yeah, we're going to swear in firefighter Mike Brewer to lieutenant tonight. So if Mike, you want to come on up.
Hello.
Raise your right hand, okay, and repeat after me. I, Michael L. Brewer,
I, Michael L. Brewer,
solemnly swear
solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
and will obey the laws
and will obey the laws
of the United States
of the United States
and the state of Ohio,
and the state of Ohio,
that I will,
that I will,
in all respects,
in all respects,
observe the resolutions and policies
observe the resolutions and policies
of the Madison Fire District
of the Madison Fire District
and will faithfully,
honestly,
and impartially discharge
and impartially discharge
the duties of the Madison Fire District Lieutenant.
the duties of Madison Fire District Lieutenant.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
Congrats, Mike.
Thank you, sir. Congratulations. Oh, okay, yeah.
Okay, congrats.
Thank you very much.
I gotta notarize it here.
Is that everything, Chief?
Yeah, and
Everything?
I know that there's cake out there, so you're all welcome to stay for the meeting, or you guys can slowly filter out if you want to get pictures and
That's right.
enjoy the cake.
But you're going to miss a really good meeting.
That's right.
Save some cake for us.
Thank you.
We'll be back to eat some cake later.
Thank you all.
Thanks, Mark.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
For the record, did you ever have Mr. Lee?
That's we first order, yeah. So just please let the record show that Mr. Lee is in attendance. Okay, we have regular meeting minutes from February 21st. Entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
Yeah, that motion.
Thank you.
I'll second, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Any discussion regarding the minutes? Corrections, edits, amendments? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Adams?
Yes.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Gottner?
Yes.
Mr. Lee?
Yes.
Mr. Donaldson?
Yes.
Mr. Wayman?
Yes.
Okay, bills and payroll. Ms. Clapp.
Sure. Our bills was $132,584.02. Our payroll was $194,502.64 for a total of $327,086.66.
Very good.
The extraordinary items that we had for February was the Richmond and Richmond insurance was $24,264. And the Heritage Fire for $49,728, which you guys approved last month with the BWC grant reimbursement.
Motion to approve?
So move, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Gottner?
Yes.
Mr. Lee?
Yes.
Mr. Donaldson?
Yes.
Mr. Wayman?
Yes.
Mr. Adams?
Yes.
To February financial report.
Sure, I'm reading off the fund summary report. We started February with $5,188,150.09. Our month-to-date revenue we collected was $138,308.37. Our year-to-date revenue is $243,444.06. Again, our month-to-date expenditures was $327,086.66. Our year-to-date expenditures is $701,917.93. So we're beginning March with $4,999,371.80. And in reference to, you'll see on the bottom there, it says the fund adjusting factor, and that's because we have one employee that has gone as child support, and I had to set it up on the new system, and they started taking out weekly, and I went back and got it adjusted this month, so it's now bi-weekly. So that's what that is there.
Okay,
And
thank you. Do we approve the financial report? Need a motion?
No.
Opening of public portion. Any comments from the audience or online?
No, sir.
Thank you. Legal counsel, Ms. Dane.
The only thing I have this evening is I do have a request for an executive session pursuant to Ohio Revised Code 121.22G1 for personnel compensation, and I promise Mr. Wayman that it will be brief.
Okay. Thank you. Under old business, ARPA wellness grant. Chief.
Yeah, the ARPA Wellness Grant, we had an old business. I don't know if you remember back probably last summer when I took over, we had the couple of the ARPA grants available. We finished the one in the fall there. This one is for the wellness grant that we're looking for ways to apply it, that would be the most bang for the buck. And actually Lieutenant Brewer and I have been working on a program for the CISM team. He's been kind of the lone wolf going out to these horrific scenes and helping, debrief everybody and been a big part of that. So I enlisted his services and his skill set, and we made a proposal the other day to the Ohio EMA, and they approved it almost immediately to be spent. So roughly, I don't have it directly in front of me, but just to ballpark it, it's around $8,700 for the class. It will seat up to 25. It is an online format with everything, all the digital syllabuses, all the digital media that's for the class, for the workbook, books, and all that, etc. is included, and we're going to invite surrounding and adjacent departments to sit as well if they want to send their personnel. And roughly, I think it's around $3,000 for overtime. So we'll have to kick in a little bit of money, but I mean to level up 4 or 5 more of our people to help with stress debriefing. And we know that wellness and our jobs are very stressful, and this will go a long way in helping more people identify those that are maybe struggling with some of the things that we see. So. That'll be coming up here soon once we figure out a date, and it's a reimbursement grant. So once we find the class, we'll put it on, they'll send us a bill, we'll pay the bill, and then of course ARPA and the Ohio EMA is very specific about reporting and sending in the proper documentation to make sure all that works. So the grant's for $11,200, and we should be probably spending, or we estimated with overtime, around $11,700 or $11,900, so which isn't too bad for what we're getting.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
New business, resolution 24-07.
Resolution number 24-07 is a resolution promoting firefighter paramedic Michael Brewer to lieutenant, establishing the terms of employment, including his rate of pay.
Thank you. Entertain a motion.
You have that motion.
Thank you. Second.
I'll second, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Gontner. Any further discussion? Okay. Roll call, please.
Mr. Faulkner.
Yes.
Mr. Lee.
Yes.
Mr. Donaldson.
Yes.
Mr. Wayman.
Yes.
Mr. Adams.
Yes.
Mr. Anderson.
Yes.
Thank you. Chief's report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Anniversaries to celebrate. We have firefighter James Lagagna, who's been on for 2 years. Firefighter James Turek, Jimmy T, has been on for 42 years, which is amazing. Firefighter Greg Walker is 2 years. Financial overview, as Joanne mentioned, Tax revenue, we haven't really collected any taxes yet. I think that's coming probably later this month. So we're about 2.3% of that budget. Year to date, EMS revenue, we've collected 21.8%, which is for 2 months is really good. Staffing overview is doing very well. Overtime has decreased due to a lot of people coming back. And of course, we're at the start of the new vacation cycle, so everyone's kind of saving it up for the next 11 months or so. Newly promoted lieutenant for C shift. They'll help with overtime we've had. When Captain Fallhammer was off, we only had one officer to kind of fill. So the other officers are welcoming this promotion so they don't get mandated to cover. Call volume for February, we had 304 calls for service. We're on pace to do about 3930, which is a couple hundred more than we had last year. Although if you remember, we had a couple of storm days, so that number is a little bit skewed. So it's probably more like 100 over, 120 more. Fire inspections are ongoing. I see Captain Sopko on there. They're in the folder for you under the Sanzio format. Vehicles. Surplus list, we're still working on that. That should be coming soon. We're going to target that for April, the surplus, and try to clear some of the stuff out that we have in the bay there, along with vehicles and equipment. We're still continuing the search for replacing my vehicle, one of the Chargers, the 2013 or the 2014, since we had 2 of them. The HME reserve apparatus, which is 2113. That's the one we chose to kind of keep as a reserve since we got the new engine last month. That one's getting the new engine that we had budgeted for last winter. That engine, we actually just cut a check for that one for $23,000 and change. We estimated about $25,000 for that rebuild to make it safer, and so it's not leaking oil all over the bay, and keep that for another 5 to 10 years probably as a reserve while we get these new ones up and running. 2123 down at Station 2, that received the second set of the rescue tools that we bought with the Workman's Comp grant, the Jaws of Life. So that got outfitted recently. Johnson's was up, and they ran electrical, and they installed them inside the rear passenger compartment in the back of the truck there. So they're basically matching trucks with the same tools and everything, which is great for our people. Buildings. The barn gym is about 98% complete. We still have a few little fine tuning and finishing touches to do, but I don't know if you got to see the pictures in the drive, but they look really nice. Captain Henry and a lot of us kind of pitched in throughout the months and weeks, last fall into the late or early this year to make that a reality. They seem to be enjoying it. So far, you approved $25,000 to do the workout room last April, I believe. And we've spent $22,795.26, so we're a couple $1,000s under budget. So we'll use that for the finishing touches and everything. Basic maintenance continues for both stations, no major issues. Avalon Pest Control has been around like every month, just dealing with some of the mice and some of the rodent issues. In a big space, they have places to hide, so I'm trying to root them out. That's the officer recommendation. Excuse me. Second set of Homatros are in service. Again, I typed this up last week for your folders, so some of this is a little bit older information. Department physicals are coming soon. I hope all of you got a chance to see the flyer that was made on behalf of us, and we have all but about 2 people signed up that are supposed to get physicals here, so very good compliance with everybody. They seem really excited to see kind of how this goes, and we're going to use our bay. They're going to bring a trailer down, plug into our dryer outlet in the bay at the 240 outline, and power everything from there. So, I mean, it should be pretty nice for our folks. They don't have to drive anywhere. Let's see, blood work starts on 4/2, and then the physicals will commence on 4/16 and go for roughly about 3 days to get everybody through. We continue to prepare for the upcoming solar eclipse. I shared our resource sheet. I created some a spreadsheet with all of our vehicles and all the staffing. We're going to upstaff probably 2 to 3 per station so far. And then I shared all the resources like eye protection and some of the lessons learned from Kentucky's solar eclipse, which was mostly traffic at the end. So I shared that with our PDs as well, so we're all kind of on the same page that day and kind of coordinate, and hopefully we can all get around safely. And we'll adjust as needed. If it looks like it's going to be 12 inches of snow, then you probably won't need all those people here. So, but if it's going to be sunny and 70, we'll probably see a good swell here, just kind of trying to catch it, especially along the lake shore. Let's see here. We are sending a couple more through our drone program. We're trying it through the video version. Last time we did an FAA program on site, which was about a 3 or 4 day class, which was a little rough for the folks from what I remember, just listening to all that. You know, the airplane and some of the flight stuff is a little dry. They just want to grab the joystick and go fly something, you know, like we do in the service. Just show us the product. We'll figure it out. But we're going to do it with a bunch of videos, and then we're gonna pay to have them take a test, and we're gonna pay for the passing test. So if they have to go several times, hopefully they don't. But hopefully that'll give us more of a presence with our group to go fly the drone when we get requested. And then Mike Brewer's promotion was tonight. Some other things to discuss. I attended the Ohio Fire Chiefs conference. It was a 2-day conference back in March 5th and 6th. I got to meet a lot of the chiefs from around the state. Some of the things we discussed were some of the legal cases in EMS, or legal cases in the fire departments, some EMS trends, and CBD and marijuana use, believe it or not, came up, and that was probably talked about for an hour. So I know CBD is a big thing nowadays for just pain management and things of that nature, and stress relief. So learned a lot of good things, met a lot of good people. Ran into some people who used to be lieutenants about 10 years ago for some of the classes I did outside of here. And now I met an old buddy from Athens Fire Department who's been a chief there for 10 years. Right after the class, he got promoted down there. So I caught up with him. I hadn't seen him in 10 years, so it was good to connect and network down there with some of those folks. We also got to tour the State House. Representative Callender and Senator Serino were not there. I got to meet one of their staffers. I believe it was Colin, who works for Representative Callender. So we got to connect and talk about a few things, and I was down there with Chief Chaponi from Perry as well. So that was nice to see those folks. We did participated in the Community Champions at the Senior Center today. Probably about 6 or 7 of us went down. We helped serve meals to the hungry and to the seniors of our town, and actually we had several come in from other communities as well. Linda Llewellyn, who kind of heads that up, they do it once a year. So we got down there, we got to sit with the folks, mingle with them throughout all their tables, and help serve and help clean up and everything. So that was a nice participation with our group. We're continuing to monitor the lake response. As you guys well know, the Coast Guard has kind of pulled their presence back, and now their expected response time is about 2 hours. So if we have something on the lake, and if the people that the board talks to, like, outside of here, maybe the commissioners, maybe at the state level, national level, the Coast Guard just they separated all their resources, because it's not a money problem, it's more of just a staffing problem like a lot of us have. So they've kind of bolstered Cleveland's and Erie's base, so Ashtabula and Fairport kind of fell by the wayside, so to speak. So we've been meeting with the Ashtabula County chiefs that represent the lake shore, and coming up with solutions, and basically sharing our resource, what our resource and our capabilities are, so we can kind of help fill that gap, hopefully until the Coast Guard gets righted, I guess. ODNR has been a big help. There's a lieutenant over there that has been working on creating an asset list and getting boats like at Fairport at some of those strategic points to help out. They're if we call them, so we get down there, we have an issue, we need some help. Not only are they a law enforcement presence, but they can help with the rescue part of it too. So they're about a 30-minute time to the dock, and then they can launch. So it's definitely better than 2 hours. So we're working on those solutions right now.
Chief, the Lake County Sheriff's still going to have his patrol boat, is he not?
He has been involved in these meetings, so yeah, they have availability in Fairport as well.
Okay.
But their budget, from what he says, it dries up by about August. So whatever they do after that, I'm not sure if they're going to staff down there, or if it's more of an on-call thing, so.
I thought he got OD&R money to do that, but maybe not.
Yeah, I think it is a grant, Mr. Gautner,
Yeah.
that they did get, but again, they use, from what he's told us in the meetings, I think it gets burned up by about August, so.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah. Let's see here. We talked about the ARPA grant. Virtual meeting with Michelle from MediCount. I don't know if you saw that in our stuff. I'll do a quick overview here. Get out of my stuff here. Pardon me. So currently, we've reviewed our rates. I'm sure most of you probably are around when we maybe increased the rates, roughly about 8 to 10 years ago, I think it was. And we're basically one of the cheapest billing rates in the county. But I say that with a grain of salt because honestly, we only collect what insurances and Medicaid and Medicare are scheduled to pay for, which is roughly about a third. So if we bill $1,000, we usually get about $300 to $400 of that roughly. Excuse me. So even though some of the folks on this sheet, maybe bill $1,100, $1,500, $1,300, a lot of that money is never really realized in the end. I had to do an audit of all of the bills that we send out that we collect 100% of. So say if we were to increase one of those rates, the ALS 1 rate, which is like the EKG, maybe a drug, maybe a breathing treatment or something. If we collected $100 more from that, we only had 30 runs that actually were paid in full. So, I did the math. It might be $3,000 or $4,000 in the end, roughly. So to increase rates, we can maybe talk about it at the next meeting if I talk to Michelle again and see if it's really viable or if we're just good where we're at. Our collectibles are up. So if you look at the client review from currently for 23 versus 24 for the first 2 months, we last year at this time for the first 2 months we collected about $357 per EMS run. This year we're up to $406.41. Some of that is because Medicaid did increase their reimbursements, so we're seeing some of that money come in as well for our ambulances going out. So we should see an increase in our estimated intake for EMS billing this year. I think last year we brought in 780. This year we're estimated to bring in probably 900 to 920,000 for EMS billing. So which will help offset some of the costs for training and just running all that stuff out there, and it's not cheap anymore. So I'll entertain any questions on the billing or anything else I've said. I think that's all I have.
Everybody's good? Okay. Any public comments from the floor? Closing public comments or from online?
Yes, Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Lee?
if I might, I just want to make some comments about an experience that I had this weekend. I got to ride in one of our EMT vehicles, and I want to tell the fire district community that we are represented by some of the best in the county, in the state, and maybe in the country, Chief. You should be proud of the people that we have here, because they're very professional, very skilled, they're helpful, they're empathetic. They were very, very concerned with my well-being. And Joe Romashir, I believe, was the driver. Greg Straub, and the glue that holds it always together, Captain Sopko. They just did a fantastic job. The only complaint, though, I have, Chief, is I would appreciate if you might be able to put in the air ride suspension system because Joe was trying to miss every pothole, but when he'd miss a pothole on the left, he'd hit one on the right, and I felt every one of them. But like I say, we have a great bunch of people here,
We do.
Chief, and you should be proud, and the community
I am.
doesn't have anything to worry about.
Excellent. Very kind. Thank you. I'm glad it was a good experience. And
Yeah.
actually, one of the gentlemen is on right over there. I'm sure he's listening right now.
Okay, any other comments?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, if I could for a minute,
Sure,
I have
Mr.
two
Conner.
quick comments here. First one, I've brought this up before, but I thought I'd bring it up again. I was looking some things over, and this fire district has 3 pieces of property that I just don't understand why we continue to own. We have 2 parcels on Burns Road that were bought back in 1987. They're side by side. They're south of Route 20 on the east side. There's no public water there. There's no public sanitary sewer there. And it looks like swampland to me. Not sure what we're ever going to do with it. And one of those parcels is appraised at $11,290. The other one's appraised at $10,180. It just seems to me that we have no reason to retain it. I think they were bought at one time because somebody thought they were going to build a fire station there, but I don't see that happening, especially with no public water and no sanitary sewer close by. The other parcel's on McMacken Road. It was bought in 2012 by I think Chief Lutz had some brainstorm at the time that he wanted to build a station there, and I think Perry and Madison were going to co-run this station. It was pie in the sky wish at best. And that property also doesn't have water or sewer even anywhere close. Actually, the one on Burns Road has a possibility of getting water and sewer to them because it's a little closer, but the one on McMacken is miles away. That property's appraised at $43,450. Not sure why we bought that one either, other than former Chief Lutz thought it was a good idea from what I was told. Not sure I agree with that, but I really think, quite honestly, we should put those properties up for public auction and get rid of them. My comment about that. I don't know how the rest of the board feels. I wasn't here when when any of that was bought. The other comment is UH. I've had some experience with them recently, and I don't know, Chief, if I did go by there one day and I saw one of our squads there loading somebody up from the urgent care. So I don't know if that's picking up or not. But you know, in February of 2023, retired Chief Baker and I met with powers to be at UH, and I think Mr. Wayman and Mr. Anderson may have had a meeting. They weren't in the same meeting with Chief Baker and I, but they were in a similar one, where the lady who's now heading up the UH operation made all kinds of promises. And recently I had to go into that building, and UH has gutted it. I don't know if any of you have been in there lately, but yeah, they got the walk-in care on one side, which isn't even part of UH. It's a private company that I guess contracts with UH. I was in there last fall and watched a young lady come in who was quite ill with her husband, but they had no health care. And they said, well, if you want us to take care of you, you got to give us $200 right now. They walked out. They didn't have that money. And I thought that was kind of a bunch of baloney, quite honestly. But then I had to go on the other side of the building about a week ago to get some blood work and an x-ray. And I walked into the main lobby, and this is at, I don't know, 7:30, 7:45 in the morning. The lights were barely on in there. There was nobody sitting in there. There used to be reception desks, so there was nobody sitting there. There were some handmade signs with arrows saying, you know, lab this way. I go down, and I did get some blood drawn for lab work, and I said, okay, now where do I go for the x-ray? And the lady says, well, we don't do x-rays here. I said, what do you mean you don't do x-rays? I've had x-rays done here before. I said, you got the urgent care right here. She goes, well, this part of the building's not connected with that part of the building anymore. They're totally separate. And if you want an x-ray, you're going to have to go to our building up on 528 across from the YMCA and get your x-ray there. I said, So I can get the blood work here, even though I was told by a doctor in Mentor that I could get it all done there. And they said, no, they've shut down the x-ray department. They've shut down half the building. And I think what UH has left Madison is shameful. I won't even get into the problem I'm having right now with my own personal doctor because of something UH did, but I'm very disappointed in them, and what they've left this community is it's terrible. What Lake Health was a much better operation. It was a nicer operation, and what University Hospitals has done to this community and this town is it's terrible, and they ought to be ashamed of the way they're operating that place. And I don't know if any of you else have had any other experiences there, but I think we were not told the whole story. I know when Chief Baker and I were in there last February, we heard a little different story than I'm seeing today, and it's very disappointing. That's all I have to say.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments from this board?
I have a question for Ken. Sure. Ken, do you happen to know what those parcels cost?
I can look it up. Yes, I do. The ones on Burns Road, the two on Burns Road were $24,500, Pete. One's appraised at $11,290. The other one's appraised at $10,180. I did not look up the purchase price of the one in McMack, and I could go back into the county, but according to $24,500 is what they paid for the two on Burns.
Okay, thanks.
I just don't know why we continue to hang on to them, because I don't see us building a fire station on either one of those parcels, especially when there's no public water or sanitary sewer there.
It is kind of swampy on Burns Road too.
I was looking at that parcel
probably
yesterday.
Probably a wetland area.
I think I didn't look to see if it's a wetlands, but it was swampy looking when I looked at it 2 days ago, I guess.
It's always wet there.
Yep.
Okay, that's all I have.
Okay, thank you. And I will entertain a motion to go into executive session to discuss personnel compensation.
So Chairman, so moved to go into executive session.
Thank you, Mr.
I'll
Connor.
second it.
Thank you, Mr. Wayman. Roll call, please.
Mr. Donaldson?
Yes.
Mr. Wayman?
Yes.
Mr. Adams?
Yes.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Goffner?
Yes.
Mr. Lee?
Yes.
Time.
The judge's ruling on,
I got it.
did you see?
Yeah, I read it.
Okay.
That was awesome. But
You guys win again.
I still don't think it's the end with that
You
guy.
know, I wish I could tell you that I thought it was, but I don't.
I don't.
He'll find some other thing to start.
We're
with.
live.
Yeah.
Mr. Donaldson, we're live.
Okay. We're live. Thank you.
Okay, we will come back into session. We have no further business at this time, and I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Time that you come back.
Oh, came back in at 8:20. Thank you.
So move for adjournment, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Lee?
Yes.
Mr. Donaldson?
Yes.
Mr. Wayman?
Yes.
Mr. Adams?
Yes.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Gontner?
Yes.
Time is
8:21.
21.